So I have some more general questions. So do you expect that anyone who was, say, a litigator with a wide body of previous cases who was writing up documents like this would get a lot of value out of using Omni?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, that's interesting. So actually, I wonder, you have a firm, and I presume you own it. I think it's danrobertson.law. So presumably, like, you are running your own firm. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And do you have paralegals under you that also are interested in using it, or who could basically take advantage of all of your history?
Well, yeah, I guess that would be useful. Yeah, actually. The reason I paused was to think about whether there's confidential stuff that I wouldn't want them to know, but there's not. And then, my second pause was kind of whether it be in a format that they'd be able to use or whether it's all kind of too personal to me for other people to use. But most of it's in a format that other people would be able to use. So yeah, I think I could.
So I wanted to point you to the share button. Basically, if you go to your managed datasets page, send a link to anyone at your firm, and they'll be able to search with the exact same data set that you're searching with.
Okay, cool. And so that's per data set?
Exactly. So if you decide, oh, there's some confidential information in this data set, but that data set's clean, you can only send them the ones that you know are filled with information that's safe for them.
That's great. That's a really nice thing. Having the separate databases is really cool too.
And I guess more globally, we definitely would love to find other lawyers who'd be interested in using this. So I don't know if you would be interested in partnering up, but I'm sure that we could find a way to make it worth your while to have basically an introduction to people who you would expect would get a lot of value out of it and potentially enjoy it. What do you think about them?
Well, I'll just tell people, if they're interested in it. But lawyers are like notoriously technology adverse. So, so most of them
are on Obsidian, so
yeah.
yeah, I know.
No, I'm not. I'm notoriously like,
Hmm.
an early adopter, but most lawyers won't ever try new things. They're really scared of it. So, but there are, whenever I'm talking to people who are interested, I tell them about the tools I'm using right now, and I'll definitely spread the word.
Cool.
I do have a question though, about a couple things that I've wondered about. So some of my databases are constantly growing, like the actual data, like in Obsidian, is constantly being added to. And so that's one problem with this Omni model, is that I upload the database and it's like static. Is there a way to update it or refresh it, or just add two pieces of new text files to this database?
So yeah, at present you do have to re-upload, but this is something that a number of customers are very interested in. So it's actually moving its way into our Q1 priorities, which is basically you point it to a folder on your file system. And whenever you add some content to that folder, the indexing scheme automatically adds that information to your Omni database.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we will.
I've actually haven't personally used this feature, but there's also the merge selected data sets.
That also works.
So I wonder.
So if you only upload your new content, you can merge that data into a larger data set. So there's a merge data set option.
Okay.
It's basically going to be the exact same experience as if you had re-uploaded it.
Okay. And then my other question is whether so there's two, I'm sure you realize that you're like racing against tons of other people who are working the space. And there's two other products that I'm testing right now that it'd be great if I only had to pay for one. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to develop some of the other technology. Cool. So one is Personal AI. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's another one where you upload a lot of your information.
Yeah.
And then it has kind of a generative chat function. So you can ask questions of your AI.
I see. Yeah. This is very similar to what we're releasing, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Because yours is kind of like a search. It's not quite a question and answer. You know, it's very close though. So I'd imagine you could do.
Yeah, the generate button that you're clicking will use your data very soon. And then you'll also have a link, which will be a kind of talk to me.
Oh,
link.
great. That's great. Yeah, because you guys are they don't allow you to like upload a whole bunch of data all at once. So it's actually much easier to get stuff into your system than theirs. And the other one is I've tried a lot of different apps that kind of suggest text as I write, but most of them don't use my own personal data
Right.
to suggest text, but some of them do, and there's a couple that I've used, and the one I'm using right now is called HyperWrite, and
Yeah.
you know about that one?
Actually, in this very room, their engineer and I were chatting 2 days ago. So,
Oh yeah. So theirs is like so far ahead of the other ones that I've used, as far as using my own personalized information.
Mhm.
But it seems like you guys would be able to do that too. You don't have really a write suggestion feature yet, but I don't know if you're planning on working on
Yeah,
that.
I'm thinking about it. So actually, how helpful is it for you to have suggestions in the writing environment versus a generate button, which gives you many options given what you're currently doing? Like, how do you feel about those two differences?
I use them both for
Yeah.
different things.
Okay,
So
maybe
one
both.
thing that the suggestions is really good for is for like phrases that are like long names or something, like or an address, you know, something that is just has to be filled in, like a form, kind of a form field that I'm going to type a lot, you know.
Okay.
So that's something suggestions are really good for, but also it's just super fast when it works well. And HyperWrite, the more I use it, the better it's getting. So like lately, there's stuff that I wouldn't take the time to click generate. It's all about that, you know, would I take the time to click generate or not? And I've got it set now to generate like full sentences, and a lot of the times it'll just create something that's absolutely perfect, you know, better than I would have written, and I'll
Very
just
cool.
click yes and keep going.
Okay, personally, I agree.
But if I want something longer, that's when I do a generate type of thing.
Yeah, I actually have been really impressed by some of that stuff because you have some problem, you highlight it, you generate, 50 solutions at once, and it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting.
So I guess in your case, it sounds like really having that super high context delivery of past information is kind of the core of the thing that has felt cool for you. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. And like I was explaining when I was writing this brief the other day, there were times when I didn't even realize that I had dealt with this issue before, or I didn't realize I had ever researched it before, and something popped up on the right-hand side that was just like exactly what I was wondering in my head at the time, and it was in my own words, you know. It was like the me of 2 years ago was like popping out and saying, hey, here's what you should write.
This is pretty cool for us because this is like exactly sort of the thing that it's aimed at. So it's pretty cool to hear you say that it worked sort of.
Yeah. No, I can't confirm. I feel
Yes.
like the totality of the me's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago are all working on the problem all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is there a way? So currently, basically, it's set up such that you're getting these suggestions and generations in this sidebar type context. I'm curious how well that has worked with your workflow and whether there are parts of it that have felt off or that you wish were different.
No, it worked really well as I'm typing. Yeah, I think it's yeah, It works great the way it is.
Right.
As you know, it doesn't slow stuff down, which is pretty amazing. Working in Google Docs at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How
it
much
seems
does not
very
being
natural.
in Microsoft Word painful? So if it worked in Microsoft Word, would you go back to Word?
Yeah, definitely. And that's just because there's a lot of stuff for formatting and references that just can't be done in Google Docs, unfortunately.
Okay.
That makes sense. And then, do you expect that you're going to continue to seriously use Omni? I guess sort of on its own merits, and also I'm curious kind of relative to other stuff that you've tried.
Yeah, so far I definitely will. Yeah. Well, like I said, you guys are in a race. Somebody
Yeah, I
else
know. I mean, we're definitely
next
racing.
month.
I'm feeling.
It also depends on the price. I haven't seen anything about pricing.
Yeah, so far it's pretty cheap, but actually we're probably going to level things up a bit as we upload some more functionality and basically scale up the data that we can take in as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there are a few very intense use cases with very large scale data. So yeah, if all of case law is in the system, you know,
Oh yeah,
right.
right.
So
Cool. Okay. Well, something I just want to say is, you know, we're very much in the active, rapid development stage of this thing. So as you're using it, if you have thoughts, if you ever just want to talk about it and what's working well and what's not, you know, I'll personally be super available for anything that you need, and Jeremy will as well. So, yeah, you know, just these conversations are insanely helpful for us as we're kind of iterating on the whole thing. So
Great. I definitely will.
cool.
I'll shoot you an email.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
really appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Thanks
Cool.
a lot, you guys.
All right, yeah, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.